Good morning, Michael here, looking today at Psalm 7, specifically verse 6 to 9 for the exposition. Let's go ahead and read those 4 verses. Verse 6. Arise, O Lord, in your anger. Lift yourself up against the fury of my enemies. Awake for me, you have appointed a judgment. Let the assembly of the peoples be gathered about you. Over it return on high. Verse 8. The Lord judges the peoples. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, and according to the integrity that is in me. Verse 9. O let the evil of the wicked come to an end, and may you establish the righteous, you who test the minds and heart, O righteous God. And so we look at the exposition, verse 6. We now listen to a fresh prayer based upon the avowal which he has just made. We cannot pray too often, and when our heart is true, we shall turn to God in prayer as naturally as the needle to its pole. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger. His sorrow makes him view the Lord as a judge who had left the judgment seat and retired into his rest. Faith would move the Lord to avenge the quarrel of his saints. Lift up thyself because of the rage of mine enemies. A still stronger figure to express his anxiety that the Lord would assume his authority and mount the throne. Stand up, O God, rise thou above them all, and let thy justice tower over their villainies. Awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. This is a bolder utterance still, for it implies sleep as well as inactivity, and can only be applied to God in a very limited sense. He never slumbers, yet doth he often seem to do so. For the wicked prevail, and the saints are trodden in the dust. God's silence is the patience of long-suffering, and if wearisome to the saints, they should bear it cheerfully in the hope that sinners may thereby be led to repentance. Verse 7. So shall the congregation of the people compass thee about. Thy saints shall crowd to thy tribunal with their complaints, or shall surround it with their solemn homage. For their sakes, therefore, return thou on high. As when judges travel at the assizes, all men take their cases to his court, that they may be heard, so will the righteous gather to their Lord. Here he fortifies himself in prayer by pleading that if the Lord will mount the throne of judgment, multitudes of the saints will be blessed as well as himself. If I be too base to be remembered, yet for their sakes, for the love of thou bearest to thy chosen people, come forth from thy secret pavilion, and sit in the gate dispensing justice among the people. When my suit includes the desires of all the righteous, it shall surely speed, for shall not God avenge his own elect? Verse 8. If I am not mistaken, David has now seen in the eye of his mind that the Lord ascended to his judgment seat, and beholding him seated there in royal state, he draws near to him to urge his new suit anew. In the last 2 verses, he besought Jehovah to arise, and now that he's arisen, he prepares to mingle with the congregation of the people, who compass the Lord about. The royal heralds proclaim the opening of the court with the solemn word, "The Lord shall judge the people." Our petitioners rises at once and cries with earnestness and humility, "Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, and according to mine integrity that is in me." His hand is on a honest heart, and his cry is to a righteous judge. Verse 9. He sees a smile of complacency upon the face of the king, and in the name of all the assembled congregation he cries aloud, "Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just." Is not this the universal longing of the whole company of the elect? When shall we be delivered from the filthy conversations of these men of Sodom? When shall we escape from the filthiness of Meshech and the blackness of the tents of Kedar. What a solemn and weighty truth is contained in the last sentence of the 9th verse. How deep is the divine knowledge! He trieth. How strict, how accurate, how intimate his search. He trieth the hearts, the secret thoughts, and reins in the inward affections. All things are naked and open to the eye of him with whom we have to do. Yes, just you enjoy that. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be blessed.